Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dice Cast. I am S.A.N, and with me I have.
Fishman.
When last we left off, Aquans and Jonas were continuing their exploration of the cursed Isle of Fog, just
Yeah.
southwest of Lyria. Their exploration was being hampered quite a bit by the ever-present fog, the shifting fields of magical energy, and the island's thoroughly hostile inhabitants.
Don't forget unpleasant.
Yes. They continued their attempts to bring down the magical barrier by destroying any and all of the generators that they came across, which proved a long and taxing process. But nevertheless, they managed to pull through by destroying the 4 more of the generators, which, according to some notes they found late into their exploration, was all the ones that had survived whatever disaster struck this island.
Yeah.
As such, the barrier should be on its way down at the moment. They also encountered someone from the city of Lyria, some sort of stealthy wizard who was obviously acting as an agent for some unknown power from Lyria. However, due to a series of devices they found on the island, which resembled the one that they found set up in Lyria's Undercroft when they were investigating that area, they have a fairly good idea, or at least a very good suspicions, of on whom is responsible for this same mysterious individual who seems to be profiting from the various misfortunes in Lyria at the moment, which means that individual had sent and possibly one or more agents to this island without anyone's notice.
Yeah,
And
I think the Archmage is going to be very interested to find out what's going on with that.
yes, and needless to say, our 2 wizards definitely made a mental note of that to bring that up on their next meeting.
Yeah.
And we left off last time for turning in for yet another long rest because we were exhausted.
Been here a day and a half with, and this is the 3rd time we're sleeping.
Yeah. So, I assume we're going to be setting up for camp in
Yes, in that lab.
that laboratory we found. Yes.
I suggest we use the intact room with the door that we can lock.
Yes. No. Do you mean the door that we barely were able to open the first time?
Yeah, that one. We may get stuck in here forever. We don't have to close the door if you're concerned.
No, but it's not exactly a door we can manipulate easily.
No, it's very big and heavy.
Well, it's easy enough for us to navigate back to that area if you want to set up camp in there.
Sure. It
We do not
is
know where our
convenient.
little friend has gotten off to. He seems to have run off.
Yeah, him being around is something we need to keep in mind because he is a wizard and quite capable, therefore, of knowing the dispel magic spell and could cause us problems while we're trying to rest.
And could very well have been the one who dispelled my alarm back in Lyria before we left.
There's that too.
We do not know that, though.
No, we have no clue.
No.
There
We don't
may
know how
be,
long he's been on this island. He could have been here before we showed up, or he could have came across on the boat with us.
yeah, and there may be multiple individuals involved in whatever is going on over there.
Possibly.
Yeah.
All right. So we're setting up camp. I'm going to set up the alarm by the door, obviously. You're going to set up Liamid's tiny hut.
Yep. And I think in the cycle of things, you're first for watch.
All right. So I'll summon Alice and we'll set to our watch for the evening.
Yep.
Well, this brand new die I just got rolled a natural 20.
So it's not going into the jail or prison or whatever. It's just going to get used. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, rolling a natural 20 on the the first time I've ever used it in a game is quite good.
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Auspicious.
So we're very alert. Does anything happen? So, my watch goes by uneventfully, and then I wake you for yours.
All right. Refreshed and everything. I will repeat the process, but this time with my owl.
Yeah.
Well, not a nat 20, but in total 22.
All right.
Wow, we're starting off our rolls really hot.
The only thing that your owl really noticed is that some sounds just in the middle of our rest. It is technically, to be fair, we are basically still, the sun was still up when we're setting up camp.
Yeah, I've lost track of what time of day it is.
I think it's going to be into the evening when we finish our rest.
Okay,
However, apart
we started out in the morning. That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
starting at dawn basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, apart from a few noises, though, of the island's various inhabitants, nothing comes to disturb your watch.
Excellent.
So we get a much needed long rest.
Yeah, we burned through a lot.
I had 2 spells left. I suppose I should ask if there's anything you wanted to do on your watch.
No, with that miscreant wandering around, I think the best thing for me to do was watch and do nothing else.
I will point out you're not able to really recharge your ring of spell storing on this island.
Uh no. I'm gonna tune to the Ring of the Ram, even though it only has 1 charge.
It does have a charge, though, at the moment, so you can use that.
Yeah.
So I'll hand it off to you at some point during the watch. We'll just say we did that.
Yeah.
I get
The problem with the Ring of Spell Storing is when we have sessions so closely knitted together, there's just no time to recharge it.
Yeah. All right. New portents for the day. You get all your luck back.
Yep. And my wand does not recharge, and the ring does not recharge.
Yep.
Wow. Not a big deal. Still have a few charges on the wand.
All right. We definitely passed dawn, so all of them did recharge. So the potion flask refilled. I can't remember if I used it in the last session or not.
I think you did.
I think I did. So I'll swap it out for another one for the regular healing potion I did last time. And stick it back in the bag of holding for now. We definitely took a lot of damage last time, so I probably would have. So let's say we did.
All right.
All right. So we wake up in the middle of the evening.
Sun is set.
Sun is set. Mark off another day's worth of food.
Yep.
And we have breakfast.
Yes, back to trail rations. Oh well.
Well, that's what happens when you go on an expedition away from the city that you've been staying at.
Yeah. No, we've been on trail rations so much lately. It was just, it was kind of nice to eat in a restaurant or an inn.
Okay.
All right. Time to head to this edifice.
Or whatever it is that we found the map to.
Yes. Indicating some sort of major structure involved in, well, all of this.
All right. So we go back to the well.
Well, yeah. Technically, this is where we were.
Yeah.
Sure. We're with the fog now. We don't really know where we are.
We'll call it a well.
Yeah, we have a rough idea.
Yeah. I'll take out the rope of climbing and have it reattach itself to the top, and we'll see what happens as what type of field we have up there at the moment.
Works.
Right. The rope attaches.
Cool.
So we climb up.
We climb up.
And we climb up feeling a bizarre feel to the air that we've come to associate with wild magic zones at the moment.
Oh, joy.
Which has resulted in you still being a teenager at the moment.
Yeah, got some acne.
You
A little moody.
decreased in age by 6 years. One of our
Yeah.
previous encounters on this island.
I'm gonna have to go find myself a greater restoration spell.
Yeah, so technically neither of us are our natural ages at the moment.
No, you're old. I'm young. Well, technically, you're 10 years older than I am right now.
At this point, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So I assume we're going to take out the map.
Well, the map is basically pages in a tome.
Yes.
So,
So take out the journal that has the map in it.
yep.
And to the best of our abilities to discern the map, we're supposed to be heading towards the northern part of the island.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, we're somewhere over here, and we're going to head somewhere in this direction.
Can I get a perception check from each of us at the moment?
All right. I'm going to have my owl on my shoulder because it helps.
All right. Roll with advantage.
Ugh. That doesn't help much, but it helps some. 8.
All right. I have a 12. It wasn't a high DC, so I'm more the one pointing out to you that you look around, the fog that has been shifting through this island constantly, and the ring of it, or basically the dome of it, that's been forming that what we assume is the barrier that kept being discussed in all the notes we found.
Yep.
Well, we have destroyed all the generators for me, and we do notice that it's lessening a little bit. There's still a fair bit of fog, and the barrier is still whirling, but we notice there's fewer of those specters that we can just spot. It's just something we notice in our periphery.
All right. Someone eventually is keeping an eye on this place and will notice.
Yes.
And may show up.
So we did some good, but it seems like it's going to take a little while for it to completely dissipate.
Yeah.
So that being said, it is dark at the moment, and there is still some fog remaining, so we are probably going to need light to travel by.
Yeah, we're going to be beacons.
Yep. And we need to somehow find our way to the northern end of the island to find this facility.
All right. I am going to cast light on the end of my staff, my little metal cap.
Yep. And I'll do the same on the end of my staff, getting the blue-green algae going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's light to see by now. And we do notice now that we're seeing, spent a night here on this island traversing it already with the aid of our light cantrips. The fog is a bit lighter than it was then. Whether due to possibly just weather or patterns, or just the fact that it's starting to dissipate a little bit due to the barrier decreasing. It's anyone's guess.
Well, that will take time.
Yes, it will. So, who is navigating on the way to this?
Well, I guess that's me.
Yes, with my assistance.
I do have survival.
You do have survival, and I do have resistance. The fog is less now, so you don't have disadvantage, but it is a slightly higher DC. So let's see how long this goes for.
All right. I have 21.
21. All right. Well, with our light cantrip to see by, the map in the journal, and just our general now growing experience of being on this island, we're fairly confident that we're heading in the right direction, and we head out.
A day and a half experience.
Okay. I'm going to ask for a general constitution check at this point just to see what pace we'll be going at, because
well, we can't rush because there's lots of bad things here. Just constitution check.
Yes.
Apparently I wanted to sleep in. I only got an 8.
I got a natural 1.
So we are just a pair of tough individuals at the moment, just coughing and wheezing our way through.
Yes, so it's a slow pace, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, we've had a rough couple of days.
Right. And we head to the next area. As we continue along on our journey, it's going to take us a bit of a while. As we're heading, we feel the fields of energy shift occasionally, but we seem to that one wild magic zone that we came up into seems to be following in the same same direction that we are at the moment, as it stays with us for next at least a good 10 minutes and then continues past that.
Wow.
We come across something that we're going to have to either navigate around or deal with.
One of the denizens.
One of the various inhabitants of this island. It looks vaguely like a large, like giant-sized mutant of some sort. Not one of the ones we've encountered with so far. But then again, we've been running into fairly similar or types of these mutations so far.
I suggest stealth.
Yeah. It does seem to be asleep at the moment, as best you can tell if these things sleep. It doesn't seem to be very active at the moment.
Ah. Wasted good rolls on crap. Now I'm getting the crappy rolls on the stuff we need.
What'd you roll?
Stealth would be 13.
I have a 15.
Above most reasonable.
It's above passive, and it's unconscious, which technically means it gets a penalty.
Yeah. Well, if it's asleep, it doesn't get a check, does it?
It does. It's just it's based on passive perception, and there is a bit of a penalty for it.
Yeah. Alrighty.
We are able to sneak by.
Yep.
Relative ease with those rolls.
Okay.
You can tell it was asleep or dead.
Or dying, yeah.
We don't really know too much, but we did not disturb it as we continue heading north.
All right.
As we continue along, this is about an hour in our trekking along this point.
Yep.
Our light cantrips flash brightly as we feel us entering a high magic zone.
Yeah.
Despite that fact, absolutely nothing seems to take notice of it.
Wow.
Maybe this end of the island is deserted.
I don't know. Well, it's certainly a lot less hazardous than the southern end.
Once again, we continue through this magic zone for the next. We seem to be following in the same direction for about the next hour. It's taking us a little while to get along here.
Yeah.
The third hour of our journey, whether we enter a second high field of high magic or it's the same one again we're following, it seems to persist.
Wow.
All right. And we don't encounter anything else to that third and final hour as we approach the facility. We see a building coming out of the mist in the distance. We think we're getting there.
Okay. Is there any graphic representation in this book to know that we're going to the right building, or is this just a building?
There is no depiction of it, but near as we can tell, we're heading in the right direction.
Okay.
All right. So as we approach the end of the third hour of travel, we come upon the edifice of a large building rising out of the mist, and you can move ahead to the next image if you want.
Oh yeah, this looks pleasant.
So rising out of the mist, there is a large, very much rundown and abandoned-looking mansion.
Yeah.
There is the remains of what looks to be an iron fence running the perimeter, but there are plenty of gaps in it.
Yes. Well, I mean, this is the most intact building we've seen so far.
It is the most intact building we've seen so far, yes. It's definitely an anomaly based on everything else. And all the clues we've been able to gather seem to point towards this spot as being important.
All right.
Perhaps it can shed some light on the mysteries of this island. So
yeah, we've already done it a little bit.
Yeah, but perhaps it will hold more answers.
Yeah.
All right, so as I said, the fence is in pretty bad disarray. We can easily find a gap through. The building itself is not quite in this state of disrepair. This is what I could find.
Yeah.
And the doors are closed.
No, they're not.
Yes, 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 yes.
All right, I'm going to take my owl and put her back into her safe pocket of dimension wherever she comes from.
So you're
'Cause-
dismissing your familiar for the moment.
yeah, because we're going into a building and she's not very good in that.
Yeah. I will say at this point that our light spells have run out for the third time. So if we want to recast them again, we can go in.
Yeah.
If we go in or not. All right.
Well, it's dark. We need light.
It is dark. There is no ambient light nearby apart from what we can provide ourselves.
So unless you want me to lead you and change my stone to dark vision,
Nope.
All right, off we go. Up to the door.
All right. So we recast our light spells, and they flare much more brightly than they normally do. So we still seem to be in a high magic zone for the moment.
Okay.
We still feel them shifting occasionally, but they do seem to have a. There seems to be something about this point on the island that has them not shifting as dramatically as before.
Wow.
According
More
to my dice.
stability? Yeah.
Yeah, according to my dice.
According to your dice. All right.
You can
Up to the
clearly
door.
hear me rolling them.
Up to the door.
Up to the door. They are a pair of double doors, and they are closed.
Okay. Do I hear anything?
Make a perception check.
No, I don't.
I'll make one too, I guess. Don't hear anything else. No. All is quiet for the moment, which is admittedly not too unusual on this island, but we seem to have left most of its denizens behind.
I want to. I mean, they were in the middle of a war when all this shut down, so I'm going to check for traps.
All right, you want to investigate the door then?
Yeah.
Are you going to take out the glasses of minute seeing you picked up?
I don't need to. It rolled really well.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I had already rolled. Yes,
Okay.
I got to remember to use those.
Yes. Well, technically, it just means either you have my assistance or you can get advantage that way. It does mean if you use them, I can use my own and roll my own independent check.
24.
24. The door is not locked and it does not appear to be trapped. The door does open outwards, much like it does on the graphic.
All right.
They
Grab hold
have
of the handle.
not seen use in some time, you suspect. From that
Oh, good. Another one of those doors. Yeah. All right. Start stretching. Get my muscles ready. Try not to pull anything. And then I'll open the door.
You can roll a strength check with advantage. Let's see how difficult this is with my assistance.
I get advantage even though you're, 90
I'm
pounds.
still assisting.
Apparently not very well.
What'd you
8.
roll? 8. All right. The doors aren't, unlike the last one, which was a heavy reinforced metal door with, stone door with metal reinforcements. These are wooden doors, which were definitely designed to open. And we do open them, but it takes about a minute. And they creak.
Loud creaking noises.
Oh, yes. These have not been oiled in centuries, you suspect.
No, those times when you should have used grease spell.
Neither of us knows that spell.
No.
No. All right. So the doors are open.
Look inside.
Do you want to look inside? All right. You can move ahead to the next image if you want.
Gotta stick my staff through the door.
Yeah. All right. So we're entering from the south of this image.
Yep.
This is what you can basically see in here. It is a grand hall, large entry hall with a grand staircase leading to a balcony leading up to the second floor, which you can just see with your light from your staff. There are a few doors that branch off on this floor, and
yep.
Or as you can see 3 of them.
Yep.
And just at the edge of your light spell, because and you can thank the wild magic field for this, is that there's a for extending the light radius of your light spell, you can just see a heavily reinforced door that stands at the landing of the grand staircase there.
Up here?
Yeah, it's not visible on this graphic, but it's there.
Okay. Anybody home? I'm
You
not
do not,
saying that. I'm just looking.
you don't see any movement in the immediate vicinity, apart from the fact that there's now a bit of a breeze going in, and some fog drifting in through the now open door.
All right.
There is the strong stench of mildew in here. Then the carpet is falling apart.
Yeah, I see that. Well, I'm gonna have a look up, make sure there's nothing hanging over my head as I go in, and in we go.
There does appear to be what the remains of what would have been a grand chandelier hanging at some point, but
All right.
it is not seen use in some time.
Yeah, 500 years maybe.
Yeah.
All right. We have doors on this
We have
floor.
doors on this floor, and there is a balcony which the staircase leads up to.
Does anything in this room indicate that any of these doors are a better choice than any other door?
The one on the left there is a large set of double doors. The two
Uh,
on the right are smaller and single doors. That's the only thing you can really see.
Big door on the left. What do you think?
You want to head on towards that one? Sure.
Yep.
All right. And now we're going to need some indulgence while we find the correct graphic, because from here on out, it's going to be very non-linear.
All right, the head one.
All right. That's the balcony. So that's the door you saw on the staircase. So that's fine.
Yep.
All right.
That's
so
good.
yeah, this is right. The double doors open into what appears to be a dining room.
Okay.
Yes, this dining hall is a large room with a beautiful long table, which is still intact, and numerous destroyed chairs and more rotting carpet.
Yeah.
So it still has been set, though, as if a fine dinner could be imminent.
And is everything tarnished and old and ugly?
It is, but still set as if as if dinner would be being served at any moment. There are also 4 suits of armor which stand in the corners of this room,
Okay.
and a grandfather clock, which is now just off screen. That is the best thing I could find to represent a grandfather clock.
Okay. Not sure what that is.
I know it doesn't look like one, but there was nothing on Incarnate for that.
Yeah, that's okay. It can't have everything.
All right.
All right.
There is also a door, which you can see just on the far end of the room, again with our light spells.
To the left? Oh,
It's
there's
no,
no
it's
left.
in the north. It would have been in the northwestern corner.
Yeah.
There's no actual door on the map.
Yeah, yeah, I just realized that.
All right, it's at this point that we feel the fields of magic shift, and our light cantrips wink out
Okay.
as we enter a field completely devoid of magic.
All right. Now, is it better to go investigate the room before or after?
That is your
can't hang around doing nothing.
Nope.
Into the room. Oh, wait a minute. It's dark.
It is dark. There is no light. We can just barely see in front of us.
All right. Haven't done this since the plateau. I am going to rummage in my gear and pull out my hurricane candle and a flint and tinder. I'm going to get the candle going so we can see what we're doing.
All right. So it does not provide nearly as much light as our light spells.
Not even close. But
however,
it does give us light.
It is not magical in nature, and therefore works in this anti-magic zone.
Yep. So.
All right. So we now have a bit of light to see by.
Yes.
We'll probably say it's about 10 feet of bright light and 10 feet of dim light.
So, in we go. And I want to investigate those suits of armor and then the grandfather clock.
Roll an investigation check with advantage.
20. 30.
20. All right. Here we go. Spend time to go to all 4 suits of armor, and they are empty.
Yeah, but there's no magic at the moment.
Yeah.
They may get up in a few minutes.
You go to the grandfather clock,
Yep.
and it is a clock. The glass that opens to where the face of the clock is does open.
Nothing in there.
There's nothing in here at the moment. It's still ticking, you can hear.
What? Okay.
As
No
the
way.
ticking, you hear that, you suddenly notice that the light spell on your cantrip resumes. Like the light cantrip on your staff resumes. That field seems to have shifted rather quickly. And then
Okay.
and as you notice it flicker back on, it flashes out again as we enter another hyper magic zone. That one was brief, apparently.
Very brief.
Yeah.
We have a magic clock.
It's still ticking, apparently.
Was it ticking before the magic came back?
Uh, Basically, you were just getting to this clock as that field was shifting out, so it's a little hard to tell. So you can basically, based on our intelligence, we estimated that field was only here for about a minute. So basically, by the time we investigated the room, it was fading.
Okay. Well, I guess this is a magic clock. What do you think?
I could cast detect magic if you really want to confirm it.
In a high magic zone? No, that's all right. So, the clock isn't doing anything unusual now that it's running again.
Nope, it's ticking.
Do I look at the hands and everything? Does it look like it's set to roughly the right time? I have no
Oh,
idea what time it is.
yeah, you have no idea what time it is, to be fair. The hands of the clock do not seem to be moving. It is ticking, however.
Oh, great. It's a bomb. I'm going to spend a little extra time investigating this clock specifically, looking for traps
Right.
and possibly
Explosives.
detonator.
Right. This might be a good time to take out the glasses of minute seeing to use them to see if this can help you discern anything then.
Yeah, I think it might be a good idea.
Right.
That will be a 23.
Right. So you take about a good minute to examine the clock over thoroughly.
Yep.
The hands of the clock are not moving on their own, but they are movable. You notice just by examining them. You can move them and adjust them. The interior of the clock does have some sort of clockwork, which is ticking.
Yep.
And as you look around just examining the clock, you notice that there is a bit of a drag mark along the wall and floor by its base. You suspect that this clock might move aside somehow, which might explain the
Setting a specific
mechanism.
time, maybe?
It's possible.
Well, this might be a bad idea. As I say to you, this might be a bad as I'm doing it.
Are you going to
take the minute hand and move it around until they're both pointing up at midnight.
All right, so you adjust them to set them to midnight.
Or noon.
Yeah.
There's no
So
AM or PM in
both
this.
of them aimed at 12.
Yes.
All right. You adjust them both to point to 12. The clock suddenly chimes out 12 times.
And I'm going to keep an eye on as much stuff as I can. Suits of armor, clock.
All right, well, that's rather difficult because the clock is in the center of the room and the armors are in the corner.
Yeah, I got you too.
All right, 12 chimes chime out.
Yep.
And the moment passes, nothing else seems to happen. That I said, well, it reacted to that, so I think you might be on the right track, but it seems that might be the wrong time.
All right. In my perusal of the room, did I find anything that might indicate something that will tell me what time it should be set to?
There's nothing really in here. Another thing we've noticed as we've been in here now is that there seems to be a balcony to this room as well as the grand hall outside.
Okay. So there may be stuff elsewhere.
It is possible.
All right. So everything's set up so, as a meal might be imminent.
Well, there are platters and plates set up. Yes,
So in this world that we live in, what is the average time people have for their evening meal?
I mean that would vary greatly
Eh, just in
depending on where you are in the world, cultures, and just individuals.
Well, what would be supper time for us usually? Five, four,
Supper
seven?
time for us is usually whenever we're at the end of
Yeah.
end of our journey. We're getting ready to set up camp.
Yeah, it was noon last time.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily the easiest question to answer.
All right.
You don't know and you really do not. We haven't spent long enough well, we've been in Lyria about over a week now.
Yeah, we weren't here 500 years ago.
No. However, again, mostly we spend time with other adventurers in an inn, which doesn't really keep regular hours.
All right. So short of setting a bunch of random times, let's go and back into the other room.
All right. Do you want to go back?
Well, I'm gonna keep this room in mind, but
Yeah.
maybe we'll find something useful.
All right. There was also a door let off from there. Right. So this technically is the room that we come back into. This is just the
That's right. You said there's a door up this way,
no other corner.
this corner.
It let off that way. Yes.
Hmm. Probably leads to the kitchens. All right, let's go through there.
All right. You want to head that way?
Yep.
All right. Then again, a bit of patience while we find the correct graphic. We got lucky this time.
Yeah.
Right, that's a view of the balcony.
Yep.
All right. So
Did we get lucky?
this is all right. This is fine. Yes.
This is the
Head through the
kitchen.
door.
Yep.
It leads to a corridor,
Yeah.
which leads off down into the mansion.
Yep.
All right. There are two. We come to two doors, which are along that corridor. One of which is labeled Herborium,
Okay.
and the other one, as we go further down, is labeled Kitchen. So, do you want to go to the kitchen first?
Well, we're here.
Yes. So, right. So, we enter the kitchen. The door is not locked, but is in a similar state to the front door.
All right. Let's see if we can move it open. Well, one of those rolls is a natural one. The other one's a 6. Getting worse.
All right. So we can force this one open too, because they're not too heavy. And we enter what can best described as a mess.
Yeah, is that blood on the floor?
It is indeed.
Well, I have medicine. Is this relatively recent, fresh blood, or is this old stain that's been here for hundreds of years blood?
You can roll a medicine check if you want.
Oh, there's you go. Rolled a 19 and a whole pile of additives on top of that.
It all looks relatively dry. And under the right condition, bloodstains can remain visible for quite some time.
So I don't think this is anything relatively recent then.
No. There's also three very cold, well, basically ovens and stoves, basically.
Yeah.
And a table with, again, the same moldering cloth and some thoroughly past due spoiled food.
What, doesn't keep for 500 years?
No.
All right.
There are a few pots like on the stoves that you could that are there as well.
This
Like
doesn't look like it's going to tell us anything about that clock,
no.
but I'm going to investigate the room anyway.
All right, I'll assist you.
Oh, getting worse. 11.
All right, 11. We don't really find anything of note apart from what I just described.
All right. Go back out to the herbarium.
All right, we go back to the herbarium, which is down the corridor we're coming from.
Yep.
We come to the door, and we try to open it. It is locked.
I will try and pick the lock.
All right.
I'm not proficient, but I have dexterity, so 17.
17. Well, the lock is, much like everything else in here, quite rusted and set, and it's relatively difficult to pick. That was not high enough to unlock it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So every time we open a door in here, what happens? Is there like a loud creaky noise?
So far, that's
I'm
been
not gonna worry about being quiet. I thought maybe I'd just use a chime with a chime opening, but
I do have a knock scroll prepared, and you do have the chime.
Yeah, it's not worth it. I'm gonna take out my hammer.
Which is not a sledgehammer.
No, it's just a regular hammer.
A hammer.
Yeah, but it's old rusty lock, so
yeah.
Try breaking the lock.
All right. Make an attack roll with a hammer.
Which I'm not proficient with.
No, and you don't have any strength to speak of.
No, that's a 7. All right, I guess I'll have to rely on something that
it's a door knob. It's not necessarily hard to hit. Roll damage. Let's see if this is
D4.
Sure. Improvised weapon.
3.
All right, you whack that. It echoes loudly in this very quiet, but still sometimes occasionally creaking house.
Yep.
You damage the lock. You can give it another try if you want.
Yep. Climbed up one.
Well, you still hit it, so
2 more points of damage.
all right. You are able to break the doorknob and presumably the lock off at this point.
Open the door.
That may not necessarily make this door easier to open.
True. The latching mechanism isn't the issue usually, it's the rust.
Yeah.
All right.
So we are going to attempt to open a door which originally opened outwards.
Yeah, got better this time. 12. It's very strange doing things when you have no modifiers at all. It's just whatever the die roll.
All right, so this takes a while. That's how I'm going to interpret that.
12. Wow.
So by the time we get it open, as I said, the door opens outwards. So technically, you made it slightly more difficult for us to open it. And it opens outwards as we feel the fields of magic shift again. Our light cantrips do not go out, but they've dimmed. So and we feel that chaotic pattern in the ether again.
Wild magic.
Yes. So we move ahead to, I think the herbarium might be the next image, but I can't remember exactly.
This is what I see when I open this door.
All right, so we're coming in from the top of this image and to the left.
Top here?
No, top left.
Over here.
Corner, basically, yes. So it opens up and we see that there are there are some plants in here which have grown rampant.
Is this like from 1960s Addams Family kind of plants?
Well, there is one that definitely does give to mind that it is definitely moving about. There are lots of thorny tendrils moving through the floor, and there's root systems, and there are, as you might notice, there are two basically, for all intents and purposes, trees growing in here now.
Yeah, one big honking flower.
Yes, there are technically more plants in this, but I thought this conveyed enough chaos for us to actually get a good view of what it was like. So the
Yeah.
plants in this room are gone unchecked and have overgrown everything. There's the only small corner of the room that there isn't anything in is basically the one we are now standing in.
Wow. Have they
Despite the
noticed
fact,
us?
what?
Have they noticed us? Are there tentacles reaching out towards us to grab hold?
There's no obvious signs of anything towards us. Those tendrils are moving about.
Hmm.
However, that seems to be the moment. These plants, to be fair, have been the first sign of vibrant life we've seen on this otherwise festering island.
I don't know. I call it vibrant. I call it kind of, horror movie-esque.
Yeah, but it is. But they are probably the first thriving living things we've seen.
Okay. So,
So
plants
movement in here is
growing in
going to
this
be
mansion.
relatively tricky.
Is there a way through this room?
We could try. You don't know
But
how those tendrils will react.
do I see a door
No,
or
this just seems to be this room. There doesn't seem another way out of here. But you can make a perception check if you want to spot anything. Note.
Yeah, because unless there's something beneficial to this, there doesn't seem a reason to go through this room. Perception without owl 18.
Yeah,
Oh
we
no,
have
sorry. Wisdom, right? 19.
yes. 19. All right. So as we're just scanning through her and using our light cantrips, basically we can move not even 10 feet into this room without until we start reaching some of the walls of all these tendrils and thorns.
Do I see a reason why I would want to go into this room?
As I'm getting to that, as we move our stabs back and forth, the light of one of our cantrips does catch something metallic in the knothole of that tree.
This not all?
That knothole right there, yes. Something metallic reflects the light off of it.
How far is that knothole from me?
That is about from the door.
Yep.
We'll call it about 40 feet.
It's been so long since I cast Mage Hand, I can't remember the range of it now.
30 feet. So you could go basically right up to the edge of these tendrils if you want, and Mage Hand can reach that far.
Yeah, which means it could be lunchtime for the plants.
It could be.
We haven't seen anything really pressing time-wise so far, right? Nothing's so it's been relatively quiet. Would
Been
you
relatively
be
quiet thus far. The
yep.
only thing of note, really, apart from the things we've been discovering in the mansion itself, are the shifting magic fields, which seem to happen and
Are
shift
we still
relatively.
are we
Sorry,
still in the wild magic zone?
as far as you can tell, nothing has changed thus far. We haven't been here. No, basically, it shifted as we entered this room, and we haven't been here more than a minute.
Yeah, step out of the room. Is it still wild magic?
As far as you can tell, yeah. Your attuned arcane senses do detect that potential for chaos in the atmosphere for the moment.
All right. In my knowledge of this, a ritual spell will still trigger it.
This is a tough question. Normally,
Yeah.
it's whenever you cast normally because we're not wild magic users. When a wild magic sorcerer casts a spell of using a spell slot.
Yeah.
There you go.
So if I were to ritual cast Unseen Servant, would it trigger?
There's only one way really to find out. You can make an arcana check if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with that, and then 21. Oh, sorry, 20.
It is a spell, and it does have a spell level.
Yeah.
So you think it could possibly cause a wild magic surge.
All right.
It might be less likely to, but you're not too familiar with this field of magic.
And I say, okay. In the sense
You know
of
for a fact that a cantrip will not.
yeah. In the sense of research, and also I want to see what the shiny thing is.
Mhm.
Would you be against me ritual casting unseen servant?
No, you may.
All right. Sit down. Probably out in the hallway.
You're gonna cast it in the hallway. We're just going to get this because we might need it.
Oh, no. We're not using that wild magic.
Well, I don't have that table, so
I have it.
okay.
Hold on a sec. It's here somewhere. There we go. Just in case we need it.
Just in case we need it.
So I sit down and I ritual cast
Unseen servant.
servant.
All right. As you finish the ritual, which takes 10 minutes,
Yep.
I'm going to first of all roll this. All right. As you're in the middle of that, you suddenly see your light cantrip flare brightly as the field shifts because it takes 10 minutes. And by the time you finish casting your ritual, we are no longer in a wild magic zone.
I'll put this away.
Keep it handy. We might still need it.
Yeah, I was going to put it on top.
In case you're wondering, I was going to have you roll a d20, and we'll see. I was going to see if it was going to cause a wild magic surge or not.
All right.
That was my ruling was going to be because it was a ritual spell. Needless
So
to say,
I have an unseen
call your
servant.
unseen servant into being.
All right. Hey, buddy. Haven't had you out in a while.
You have absolutely no idea how a high magic zone will react to this spell. It's not one of the normally scales with spell slots, so you have no idea.
All right. I tell him to go get that shiny thing.
All right. So I don't think you need to see for the point you're sending your servant to. You can just instruct it.
Yeah.
All right. So I would like you to make a stealth check for your unseen servant using your spellcasting ability modifier. So your intelligence.
It has no mass.
Yeah.
It can't be seen.
No, but it does have a field of energy that exists. I want to see this.
So my spell casting modifier?
Yes, so
Or casting firebolt or something?
your intelligence modifier. Add that to the roll.
Oh, just that? Oh,
yeah.
All right. 19.
All right. The tendrils do maneuver in such a way, and this is a very tricky situation because the servant is unseen, as the spell describes.
Yep.
But you do have a relatively good idea where it is because you are mentally connected to it.
Yeah.
Yes. It is basically just an extension of your magic.
Yes.
So the tendrils continue, and it moves through there, and the tendrils seem to be moving in such a way as if they're feeling out for movement.
Yep.
Because your servant does technically exist. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a solid creature or anything, but it does technically still have a presence.
Yes.
Which these tendrils seem to be feeling out for. Obviously, a plant like this would not have eyes, therefore it would rely on other senses to sense anything.
Yep.
But your unseen servant manages to make it through.
Cool.
And he gets to the tree, and you see that gleam of metal get taken out
All right.
by unseen hands.
Come on
And
back.
then your unseen servant is able to come back. I'll have you roll one more time to see how this goes.
I rolled a 15 last time.
Yep.
I'm not sure we're going to make it that this time. Oh, natural 20.
Well, that beats the natural one the plant rolled. So, without any difficulty at all, your unseen servant comes back.
Hey.
And hands you what was it found.
All right, before it hands it to me, what is it?
He holds up a small key.
Oh, cool.
There is a word written on it.
What's the word?
It is study.
All right.
As in, you assume that there's a room in here that's a study.
Yeah.
A room we haven't encountered yet.
We won't be bashing locks all evening.
So you can mark that down somewhere that you have the key to the study.
Yep. All right. I got a buddy for a little while.
Yes. And the only thing you can feel the connection being somewhat stronger. You suspect as long as we remain in a high magic zone, the spell might last longer than normal.
Cool. But these things shift so much.
These things shift quite quickly. The field will probably shift again before the normal duration of the spell runs out.
Yeah.
All right. So we go back into the hall now.
Back in the hall, and then there's nothing else to do but go back into the main part of the building.
As far as we can tell, we've explored this area of the mansion. Yes.
So,
not that.
Yeah.
That was the kitchen.
And then
Keep going back
to the dining room.
So we come back to the dining room.
All right. There's no other doors in here, right?
No, there's not. Not unless you want to take another or try at that clock.
No. I think we're gonna need something for that. I don't know what it is, so.
All right.
Well, actually, when I was examining it, did I notice the keyhole in the clock? Sometimes grandfather clocks can have a key to operate them.
You can roll an intelligence check, or you can just go and actually take a look if you want.
13.
Right. You did not remember. I mean, there was an internal area of the clock which probably does require a key to open up. You can go try the key if you want, but it's to the study. You don't know if that's going to work or not.
I was just curious. All right. I mean, for all I know, in these weird buildings, the study could be on the back end of this clock through a secret door.
All right. So, as far as we know, there are 2 doors down here.
Yep.
There's the heavy reinforced door on the landing, and then there's whatever on the balcony, which we haven't looked at yet.
And these 2 doors.
That's what I mentioned. These 2 doors down here, opposite us. Yes.
Well, I think we should finish what we're doing here first.
And what does that equate to?
I would like to go to this door here.
All right.
And look and listen.
So you want to examine the second door there?
Yes.
All right. Roll an investigation check, and I'll just
23.
23. All right. Neither of these doors are locked. I'll just explain both of them to you at this moment, just because they're both right side by side.
Yes.
The door you indicated on which is basically closer to the entrance, is unlabeled.
Okay.
The other door is labeled, and it is labeled gallery.
So let's do
Either door is locked. Or
unlabeled one first.
All right, the unlabeled one. You open it up, and it, much like the one from the dining hall, there's a corridor leading further on.
Okay. And then let's open the other door.
Right.
The gallery one.
The gallery. You open the door. All right. So you remember that room that had the statue in the center? We need that now. This is what we see. And we're entering from the south of this image. All right. So there are works of art and portraits on it and other historical objects here along the wall. And there's a statue in the center of the room, which is not that. It's a water bearer, but that's the best I could find.
Water bear?
Yeah, like the image of an Aquarius, like a woman holding a jar.
Ah, bearer. Not. I said, what is a water bear?
No, bearer, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And there are also some trophies on the wall you see here.
Yes. 3-headed dog. Well, most likely is a dragon skull.
Yeah. 2 dragon heads mounted on the wall.
Yep.
And a variety of Looks like an angel crouching, just like almost like in a fetal position.
Does it cry? I gotta watch out with those weeping angels.
And there are also a variety of other what looks like to be art-based objects here.
So some of the stuff looks really kind of shiny on this.
Yes.
Is any of it looking like it's, valuable?
I suppose that would just be a straight intelligence check to assess the value of something.
It's all art to me.
Yeah, some of these are jewelry boxes. That's what this one up here in the north table is.
That one?
No, the other one.
This one?
Yeah. And there's one here that looks like a music box.
Okay.
And there's a few other things here. Some of them might be valuable in the field of antiques, but you have no real idea.
We're 500 years old.
Yeah. They've been relatively undisturbed for a long time, so some of them are still quite well intact.
All right, I'm gonna go up to this table here, and I want to examine. Well, what's this for starters?
That basically is almost like a carved fresco. Well,
Okay.
not really a fresco. No, that's not the right word. Kind of like a bronze tablet for all intents and purposes.
Okay. Anything written on it, or is it just artistic?
It depicts a sun, a moon, and a star.
Okay. So nothing I glean meaning wise out of that.
Not really. There's no writing on it. It's mostly just an image.
Okay, I want
There might be
to
some sort of pictographical meaning, but there's no obvious.
I'm gonna check these three things out to see if they're functional.
All right. Well, all right. So the one on the far end there, opposite the tablet, the one on the far end there, that's the music box I indicated.
Yep.
Its gears have long since rusted.
Okay.
So it's unlikely to play any tune. It is still relatively intact, though, so this probably could be fixed up.
Can I close it without destroying it?
You can try. This would be a dexterity check.
Straight dexterity will be a 17.
All right. It closes. It latches. You don't hear anything snap or break. You don't know if you'll be able to open it easily again.
It looks nice.
Yeah, looks relatively nice. The outside looks like it's made of gold.
Chuck it in a bag of holding.
All right. You can write down an antique music box, which does not play at the moment, but it could be maybe someone skilled in clockwork could get it working again.
Next in line.
All right. The next one is basically an urn for all intents and purposes. Like an antique urn that has a lid.
Does it hold somebody's ashes?
You want to take a look inside?
Yeah.
It is empty. You imagine this is just mostly here for decorative purposes. It looks like an antique, so.
Does it look, again, valuable?
It might be to the right buyer. Again, you rolled relatively low on your appraisal, basically, of these objects.
Yeah. Put it in the bag of holding.
All right, you put it in the bag holding.
Antique urn.
Yep.
Number 3.
And number 3, we come to effectively, which is another jewelry box.
Okay. Has it got jewelry in it?
There are indeed some jewelry. There's some jewels in here. And what looked like at one point probably would have been a necklace. The gems are still intact. The metal is relatively basically tarnished at this point.
Definitely not gold then.
Yeah. This looks like it might have at one point been silver to your alchemical eyes. There's some gems in here which you might be able to salvage for spell components, depending on the spells you want to use them for, like your crystal summons.
I will take the box, throw it in the bag of holding.
All right. You can write jewelry box containing half a dozen gems. You can appraise their value later.
Yep. All right. Top of the room.
All right.
The jewelry box.
So there's a jewelry box, and the thing beside it seems to just be some sort of antique container. That's a smaller object there.
How big is this jewelry box?
It's pretty big compared to the other one.
Is it open?
It kind of like it opens up into like a display case. Basically, there's like the last one was basically just like something open and there was jewels in there and closed. This one is a bit more like it's got like almost cabinet, like a cabinet with like compartments that opened up.
All right.
There's a mirror on there, which is what you also see. So it's maybe a jewelry box is the wrong word, I guess, to use. Maybe it's a bit more of like I'm trying to think of a word that would describe that.
Vanity case.
Yeah, I guess a vanity is probably the best word.
I will close it all up. Put it in its smallest shape.
Yes.
Chuck it in the bag of holding.
This one's a tight squeeze, by the way. Even for the top,
I have the spare one.
What? Yeah. So no, it's not. It's not so much that you're filling every bag of holding. It's just like its dimensions are a tight squeeze to fit into the bag. That's all.
Okay. And then I'll do the other container too.
Okay. So apart from that, you've basically thoroughly rubbed this room. Is there anything else you want to do?
I want to investigate the trophies.
All right. Well, there's a dragon skull, and the heads of what appear to be a green and a gold dragon.
Do I know any alchemical use for the bones of a dragon? I know they are technically valuable.
You can roll an Arcana check if you want.
Well, Arcana is good. 23.
Dragon bones can be used in the construction of a variety of magical artifacts, particularly some weapons. Dragon fangs are also quite commonly used, and from that check, you know that this skull is a dragon skull. Probably for my relatively young dragon, based on the size. The trophies on the walls are fake. An actual dragon of those types, and it would be much larger and much harder to kill. So this is probably just something someone had made up.
But the dragon skull is real.
The dragon skull is real. It is also too big to fit in the bag of holding.
So you said the teeth are valuable in something?
Dragon bones and dragon fangs can be used in the construction of magic artifacts, particularly some type of magic weapons. This is never something you yourself have tried to do. You've only have a very basic grasp of constructing magic items as you made your wand.
Yeah.
So you haven't gone into the more advanced areas of that craft, but from that role you can determine that there's definite possibilities you could use this for. No immediate potion formula springs to mind, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. Well, it's not likely that we're going to run into a whole lot of dragon skulls. At least not ones that the dragon's going to want to let us have.
No, this one definitely is an opportunity.
How heavy is this thing?
Probably weighs close to 20 pounds.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's because you suspect based on the size, this thing would have been a young dragon, though it's hard for you to tell just from bones what species it belonged to.
Well, this is going to sound really barbaric, but I'm going to pick it up, smash it on the floor, and collect some teeth.
All right, you pick it up and you throw it on the floor. Age must have thoroughly weathered this skull because it breaks with relative ease.
How many dragon teeth do I get?
You find 6 intact fangs.
All right. Well, now we've ransacked this place.
Yes, you thoroughly have. The only things we haven't examined so far are the three statues.
3 statues.
There's yeah, the three-headed dog and the angel on the table there, and the water bearer statue in the center. They're technically statues, even though the two of them are small.
All right. The water bearer statue is just like a fountain kind of thing.
It's not really a fountain; it's just a statue. It's just in the shape of a water bearer.
I will investigate it.
All right.
17.
17. All right, as we're examining again, a familiar situation happens where something metallic catches the light of our light cantrips inside the urn this time.
Mage hand.
All right, so you have your mage hand come out, reach in, and pull out another key.
Woohoo.
This one is labeled library.
All right. 2 remaining statues.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah. 21. There's nothing really that stands out about these two statues. They're well made. They're made of stone, and they're intact. They would be relatively heavy. Fitting them in the bag of holding might be tricky. They're of an odd shape.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Unless we're going to detect magic on them and find that they're magical. Even if they are magical, what are we going to do? Haul these things around with us? Yeah. Okay. I think we've done all the damage we can in this room.
Yes, you've thoroughly destroyed it.
All right, go back out.
All right.
Shall we go down this hallway?
You want to go down the remaining corridor. We haven't gone down. Okay.
Yeah. Keeping an eye out for the usual traps and plates and stuff.
All right. As we go down the corridor, and we basically are coming to the turn where it heads further into the mansion, our light cantrips go out, and your unseen servant vanishes.
All right. Get my candle out.
You do know that these fields of anti-magic do not dispel our spells. They merely suppress them. If we leave the field or the field changes, the spells come back if their duration hasn't run out.
Okay.
Because neither light nor unseen servant are concentration.
Yeah. All right, on we go.
On we go. We come to a pair of doors at the end of this corridor.
So it goes down, up,
and then it curves, and then turns again, basically almost like a U. Well, an exaggerated U with a very long middle section.
On, up, and back?
It does go back the same way, yes, but it's basically two short stems and a long middle section, basically. So it's like...
So this is roughly on the... So we went down, up, and back. So it's roughly on the other side of what that gallery then.
It would be much further in than that, than what you just did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but there's not enough room on that.
Yeah.
All right.
There are two doors here.
Do
you want to read the labels? They're both labeled.
Oh. The double doors, they're both labeled?
There's two doors. They're not double doors.
Oh, okay. Sure.
One is labeled study, and one is labeled storage.
Well, I definitely have a key to the study.
Yes, you do have the key to the study. Do you want to start there?
Yep, stick it in the lock. Turn it.
All right. I will roll to see. All right. You unlock the door, and you hear a snapping sound as you do so.
The key
went into a lock
that's very rusty, and something inside snapped it.
The key is fine. You pull it out. You think the lock broke?
Oh, God. There, I thought the keys are going to make things easier. Is the door still locked?
Nope, the lock is now broken.
Open the door.
Yeah, we open the door. Another creaking sound goes by as we enter this door.
Right.
All right, we can proceed in the images because there's one for this as well.
Just say when.
There, stop.
Not close enough?
That's close enough, yeah. All right. So we enter the room, and this image makes the room look slightly bigger than it is. It's a small study.
Okay. Is there
So
actually a dude in here?
there is a body in here, yes. It's actually slumped back in the chair as opposed to on the table. That's the best I could do.
Okay.
This is a small personal study with bookshelves, a desk, and a chair, and there's indeed a dead body sat at the desk.
Okay.
There are candles in here attached to the skulls, which are still lit.
What's the point of having a study unless you have drippy candles on a skull?
Yep.
And they're lit.
They're lit. And as you hear that, our light spells come back on.
Yep.
Your unseen servant resumes, and the candles burn slightly brighter. You suspect these candles have some sort of continuous flame spell cast on them.
But they were lit during a null magic zone.
The field does shift. The exact size isn't. It varies.
Okay.
We seem to be back in a high magic field for the time.
I'll put my candle away again.
Yeah.
Keeping it relatively close because stuff's happening.
Mhm.
All right. Either ritual cast or regular cast detect magic, please.
All right, I will ritual cast detect magic. Takes 10 minutes.
During that time, I'm going to investigate the room. 21.
21. All right. You feel the field of magic shift twice during my ritual.
Okay.
The first time it stays as a wild magic, as a high magic field.
Yep.
As I'm just finishing the ritual at the 10-minute mark, the field shifts into a wild magic zone.
Okay, this is
So we're going to finally see this now. So it's a ritual spell, so I'm going to roll to see what happens here.
Yep.
All right. The ritual does not seem to cause a wild magic surge.
All right.
But we do feel the field reacting to the spell.
All right.
All right, so I have detect magic for the next 10 minutes. Or until however long this field shifts back into a null magic field.
Scan the room real fast, please.
All right. Well, all 3 of the skulls of candles are enchanted.
Okay.
As is the container on the desk.
Okay.
And
Anything on the body?
there does not appear to be anything on the body. However, I do detect some sources of magic from inside the desk.
And the books?
Do not seem to be magical. Also, the books are not in the best of state.
What, they're not nice and shiny like these ones?
No. This was just the best visual.
Yeah.
They're in similar state to all the other books we've seen on this island.
Gotcha. All right.
Actually, it probably might be in worse state because there is a window opposite the desk, and it is broken.
Any evocation magic here?
And I'm going to check one thing. Yes. All 3 candles give off evocation magic.
To my knowledge, is the light.
I point out to you, however, if this is a continual flame spell, continual flame is in evocation school.
Right. That's what I was going to ask.
Yes.
All right. Let's investigate. First off, the box or whatever that is.
All right. Roll investigation check with advantage.
16.
All right. 16. Well, the box is very well made, and it's endured this entire time, and there are runic inscriptions all along it.
Okay.
And as you're investigating near the desk, you feel the crunch of glass beneath your feet.
Yeah, I see that there.
Yeah. You look down at what appears to have been a glass vial of some sort, but is now
Okay.
been thoroughly crushed.
So maybe he drank that and was poisoned and killed him. Who knows?
Both of us can roll an Arcana check. This is going to be relatively high.
Well, that'll make it then.
What'd you roll?
Wow. If it's going to be a high check, it doesn't matter. 14.
Right. I rolled a 27 total. I said, I think this, I said, just looking at pointing to the box, might be an empty, admittedly, but has clearly been constructed in the style of an old style for a phylactery.
Okay. That's not good.
Yes, it's empty, I say. That much is certain. But there's evidence of a very old ritual here, and with the broken bottle and the state this body's in, which is just a skeleton, and at this point in very decaying robes. I suspect this individual may have died in the middle of attempting the ritual that transforms a wizard into a lich.
So, considering what I see here,
Yes, clearly the ritual failed.
yeah, okay. Otherwise, I want to go home. I'm going to take on a lich.
No, but you suspect that is what this has all been set up as. Sorry, this is what I suspect this has all been set up as. There is a potion. The consumption of a very rare elixir is required for the ritual.
Yep.
I explained the bottle, and I suppose it's possible either the ritual went wrong or the elixir was switched out for poison. Who knows? Exactly.
Yeah.
Clearly, it did not work.
You said there's magic in the desk?
Yes.
Let's search for traps first, and then open the drawers that lead to magic items or whatever.
Yeah.
Searching for traps will be a investigation, is it?
Yes.
15.
15. The drawer is not where I detect the magic confirm is not trapped. It is locked.
Try to open it.
Pick the lock.
Yep.
Right.
18.
All right, that is sufficient. This is not a difficult lock, though it has deteriorated somewhat.
Yep.
But that's good enough.
And open the drawer.
Unlock the drawer and pull it open, and we see a bunch of moldering and falling apart notes, or what notes are basically just leaves of paper, basically.
Okay.
And 3 rolled up scrolls, which
How many?
3, which have, due to their magical nature, has allowed them to withstand the ravages of time.
Okay. Excellent. No other magic in here?
No, I only detected these 7 sources that we've looked at so far.
All right. I have a look at the body.
Yeah, we haven't actually looked at that yet.
There's no magic on it or anything, but
No.
I'm gonna examine it. I'm gonna try. Oh, mid check.
It's a skeleton.
I know. Let's go investigate the body.
You're just gonna search the robes?
Just going to investigate the body. Not very high. 16.
16. All right. Well, apart from the fact that as you feel through the robes, some parts of them, the cloth tear.
Yeah.
And while you're doing so, you tear one of the pockets and you hear something metallic hit the floor.
What will that be?
You find yet another key in the same style as all the other ones we found so far. This one is labeled bedroom. Presumably, possibly this person's bedroom. This does seem to be their study.
All right. Nothing else is found?
Nope.
Out we go. Back into
the corridor.
Corridor.
Okay, so we're going back to the Grand Hall then.
Oh, sorry, there's one more.
Yes, there was the storage room, which was adjacent to this.
Is there a
study.
graphic for that?
No, I didn't bother making one because it was just going to be a bunch of crates.
Yeah. We will go in and I'll investigate it.
All right, so as we go to the door to this room,
Yep.
It's not opening.
Not opening as in locked?
The handle turns,
Yeah.
but it's not opening. We think the door might be jammed.
I will try and unjam it.
All right, also to this point, our lights on our stabs wink out again, and your unseen servant goes away.
I haven't used them for anything. All right, we'll try opening the door.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my best door opening roll yet. 17.
All right. We opened the door largely by almost breaking the door in.
Okay.
Numerous crates litter this room, and
Yep.
most of which containing supplies, which you suspect by this point are completely useless.
Yes. Not eating anything in a 500-year-old crate.
All right. My detect magic spell is not going to work in a null magic field and is probably run its course by this point anyway. So we'll have to resort to searching the old-fashioned way.
I'm fine with that. That would be a 16.
All right. All right. It takes about 5 minutes to search this room.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of stuff, lots of crates in here, which probably contain lots of various interesting things at some point. We do find a relatively smashed crate that we open up, and there was, based on the contents, there's probably a lot of glass vials in here at some point, which you suspect might have been potions. And there's a pool of what basically just is a mess in here. But there are also 3 intact vials.
Woohoo! Oh, not going to give us a whole crate full of potions?
No.
Yeah. We already have a whole pile of potions.
Yes, none of which we've identified yet, or attempted to examine in any way.
Oh, it's going to take us so long to get through all that.
Yeah.
Let's see. 10-minute ritual.
11-minute ritual.
14, 20, 10. It's going to take us 40. No, 10. Yeah, it's only minutes. Yeah. No.
11 minutes.
10 minutes. Oh, I'm just using 10 minutes as an example. It's 20. 10. That's actually not that long. Never mind. It's going to be tiring.
It is. But there's going to be 2 of us doing it.
Yeah. So.
Well, just be thankful this isn't older editions of Dungeons & Dragons where we had to literally have that many identify spells prepared.
Oh, yeah. God.
That would take... We have to take a day off, basically, I think.
Yeah, even if all we did was prepare magic missile. Oh, sorry, magic missile.
Identify.
Identify. Yeah. All right, back into this room now.
All right, so we backtrack to here.
Yeah.
By which point we feel ourselves in a high magic field again.
Yay! Better than the
Yeah.
weird one. And none.
Yep. And our light cantrips and your unseen servant come back into being.
He's probably going to get tired of that.
It cannot get tired of anything. It does not have a mind.
Yeah, I know. All right, up the stairs.
All right, so we go up the staircase. So we head up. So we come to the reinforced door for the first time.
Yes. The
All right.
big door.
So we're on the balcony. The staircase continues up to the actual balcony proper, which does run around on both
Yes,
sides.
this keeps going this way, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So right in front of this door, I would like to do an investigation of this door, checking for traps and that sort of stuff.
All right.
Dirty 20.
All right. This door is a massive metal door. It has been reinforced, and there's no lock. There's no handle to it. There are, however, 3 circular slots in it.
Then these slots are what size?
Uh, Probably about 2 feet in diameter. They are perfect circles. Looks like something slots in here.
Those skulls I saw, were they spherical or just regular skull shape?
They were skulls.
Right. So, not them.
Not them.
Have I seen anything that looks like it would fit in these yet?
You do not think so. Not that far.
All right, we need to investigate some more.
Yes. There are also 2 doors on the. There's a door on each side of the balcony. Based on the position of one of them, you suspect it leads to the balcony in the dining hall.
Well, let's save that one. Let's go to the other one.
Right.
The one to the right.
Right. So we go to the one to the right.
Yep.
All right. 1 second. Do I find? There. Right. There is a similar corridor to the one we encountered on the floor below.
Okay.
Right. It curves around in a similar pattern. However, much like in the other corridor we encountered leaving the dining hall, there are 2 rooms in here.
Yep.
One of which is labeled the bedroom.
Yep.
And one of which is labeled the armory.
We don't have that key yet, but we do have the bedroom key.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Put the bedroom key in the bedroom lock and give it a turn.
All right. All right. So we have to again move through until we find.
Did I find something that looks like a bedroom?
I know what it looks like. There, stop.
Yeah, as that kind of figured.
Right. So the door opens.
Yep.
And let's just put it this way. This room is in a worse state than the rest of the house so far.
So it's not nice and shiny and green.
No, this is the best I can do. Remember how you saw on the exterior how there were some sections of the mansion which the roof looked like it caved in?
This be one of them?
This is one of them.
Okay.
Meaning this entire room has been exposed to the elements considerably.
Aha.
Yeah. There are, in fact, still damp pools of water in here. And there's mildew and mold everywhere.
Well, I think it's worth a check anyway.
Okay.
I will investigate this room. for a total of 24.
All right. Well, from that roll, we are able to, in quick, short order, determine that there's probably nothing left of use in this room.
All right, waste of a 24.
Unfortunately, yes.
The other one was armory, you said, right?
Armory, yes.
So so far, all the ones I used keys on the locks. One of them broke.
Yes, that was the one in the study. The key you still have the key. The bedroom,
Bedroom.
the library.
So are the locks all in relatively bad repair?
The entire house is in a certain degree of bad repair.
All right,
There are some
so
sections that have fared better than others.
I'm gonna go to the armory door. Is it
All right,
locked?
it is not locked.
Oh,
You also notice that this door is made of metal, not wood.
check for traps.
Right?
26.
26. All right, so you're going to open the. All right, you're fairly certain the door itself is not trapped. So you open the door and you look around.
Yeah.
There is a mechanism on the inside of the basically the door, the door itself, where the door slides into it, basically. On the
I open the door and a bucket of custard lands on my head.
no,
Oh,
there's a mechanism on the inside of basically where this door is supposed to fit in that you think that this door can be sealed by some sort of trap in the room that causes it to lock and seal whoever is in triggers that trap.
so a bunch
So you
of
can
suits
see
of
into the
armor.
room when the door is open.
Okay.
There are 8 suits of armor in here. These are the same suits of armor you saw in the dining hall below.
Okay.
They are equipped not with swords, but with basically spears for all intents and purposes.
Okay.
And in the center of the room, there is basically a pedestal.
Yeah.
And there appears to be something circular slotted into it.
That's the thing on the top.
Yes. That's all you can really see from our current vantage point.
In the bedroom prior,
Yes.
is there anything there that looked like it could withstand a door trying to close and squish it? Like the wood reasonably solid?
No. Very much no. There is not much that you're going to find of use in that room.
Yeah. Don't really want to be locked in this room, even though I'm pretty sure with a couple of blows the floor would give way.
You're not entirely sure what's on the floor below this room.
True. But beats being locked in kind of thing. All right. The door opened in.
Yes, it opens in.
Okay. Open the door. Then I'm gonna take out of my pack my hammer and my one of the large spikes I use.
Yep.
This is a wooden floor.
It is a wooden floor.
I'm gonna hammer a nail in so that the head's sticking up, or spike in, I should say. So the head's sticking up enough that the door bangs up against it if it tries to close.
All right. Because you're going to be attempting to prevent a trap from functioning here, please make a check. We'll make a dexterity for this.
Straight dexterity will be an 18.
All right, that's pretty good. You feel pretty confident that this is going to make it rather difficult for this door to close. It still may not prevent it, but that's going to be the DC at which the door is going to have to try and beat.
All right. Let's go see what this pedestal is all about.
All right. So unlike what's depicted here, it's a stone pedestal. This is just
All right.
the best that I could find. All right. There is a silver disc inserted into the pedestal.
Yep.
And there is has a crest on it which has the shape of a moon.
Okay.
It looks to be the same size as the circular holes you saw in the door on the landing.
And is it just laying on the stone, or is it in?
Oh, it's fitted into this. There is clearly something. It's slotted into something. Based on what you have already detected, that there's a trap in this room, this might be the trigger.
Is this stone pedestal anchored in place?
It is. It's anchored to the floor.
I'm gonna examine the 8 dudes.
All right.
See if there is something about them that may indicate a pattern to whatever that puzzle is.
All right. You can roll an investigation check with my assistance.
Well, that's bad. 16.
All right. Thinking back to that particular puzzle, which I assume you're referring to the grandfather clock in the dining hall, nothing comes to mind from that.
Does anything come to mind from what I see here about this pedestal?
It looks like there is enough room that you can reach your fingers in and remove this crest.
All right. Get ready to run.
All right. We're going to get ready to run.
And I will attempt to pick up this disc of silver.
All right. Are you going to attempt to just going to take it out?
Yeah, I'm gonna fiddle with it a little bit to see if there's possibly a way to jiggle it free, but there's nothing else I can do really.
Right. So you're just going to try and take it out.
Yep.
All right. In short order, you remove the crest. And you hear a clicking sound from the pedestal as you do that.
I run for the door.
All right. And as we turn around, let's see what happens with the door. It slams into your iron spike, which you wedged into the ground, nailed into the ground, and stops.
Yep. Not waiting to see how this resolves, so just going to keep going.
At the same time, you hear this as we are running from the door, we hear the sound of suits of armor moving behind us, and we see two on this side of the room as we're exiting, also beginning to animate.
So 4 suits of armor are beginning to find us very interesting.
Yes, they seem to be waking up.
All right.
All right. So we have made it out of the room.
Yep. Do they follow us out of the room?
Let's see. Yes, they do. They are following us, and we should probably roll for initiative at this point.
All right. All right.
Well, that's a natural 1 for me.
Well, I have an 18.
All right, and well, the suits of the armors have a 2.
Good Lord. So in my hours and hours of time to think about this while I'm waiting for everything else to resolve, I am going to wait until all the 4 suits of armor are near the door and well within the radius of a fireball spell.
All right. You also technically still have your unseen servant.
I won't fireball it.
Which I assume for the moment is just following you.
Okay.
Alright, so you're holding fireball until they're all within range.
Yeah, I gotta wait for them to shamble up because everyone's slow.
Are you moving at all? We are currently on the outside the door.
I'm gonna drag you back a bit, so 15 feet further from the door.
All right. Bear in mind, you have to maintain range into the room. If you move 15 feet, you won't be able to see into the room anymore.
Why?
Because the corridor is parallel, is perpendicular. It runs like this to the door.
Ah, I got you now.
You could get 5 feet from the door and still have a bit of an angle into the room.
Well, I'll do that then.
Okay. And you're holding fireball.
Yep.
All right.
So,
We come to their turn. Well, these
how
things.
big was this room anyway? Out of curiosity, I can't remember.
It was probably about 80 foot square.
80-foot square, so 40 by 20.
It was about 80 feet across.
Oh, okay. That's a big room.
Yes. All right. These things have intelligence of 1. They are definitely not intelligent enough to realize what you're planning.
Yeah.
So, in short order, they all stomp towards the door because it's to follow us. 2 of them make it out, and 2 of them make it just. So we are basically. They're going to be casting into the room.
Yep. Get them all in the fireball.
All right. Well, at one point they will all be in range for that.
Well, not horrible, but not very good.
All right. Pretty average saving throws, except for 1.
No natural ones.
No natural 1s. No natural 20s either. All right. And they do not have a dexterity bonus. So that's a 10, a 10, a 13, and a 16.
One passes.
1 passes.
The failures take 27.
Alright, do you have fire resist? No. So 27 points of fire damage. And the one who passes takes 13.
Yeah.
Alright. The one that succeeded on the fireball, I'm going to say for narrative reason, was the one that managed to exit the room. So it only got mildly scorched by the fireball. That also means it's 5 feet from us. Well, a bit away from us.
Yeah.
Alright, due to the confinements of the room, however, it's the only one that can do anything. This was a much more effective trap before you disabled it.
Well,
It is, however. Actually, wait, no. It's their speed is, yeah, their speed's a bit lower than ours. All right, it's about it. All right, basically, there's about a 5-foot gap between us because you dragged us back a little bit.
Yep.
So it has to use its action to dash 5 feet to get into melee range with us. This is one of the points at which the rules of Dungeons & Dragons don't technically make sense, because it's got a spear and should easily be able to reach us. But according to the rules, there's just enough gap.
I'm fine with that.
Alright, and another one is able to exit the room, and the other 2 are waiting, because they can't do anything else. They don't have any intelligence.
Alright, you're up.
My turn!
And they're really well lined up for one of your
Oh, wait.
best units.
There's one more thing to think about. We're
What's
currently in a high magic zone. Roll 1 more d6, please.
Oh. For 6 more points of damage.
Remember that. Alright, so that one takes 3 more points of damage. Sorry.
Yep.
No, it's the only one that exits the room.
The rest of them are dead or destroyed, I should say.
Well, you rolled a 6 on top of the 27, right? So that's a total of 33.
Yeah.
Which is their hit point total.
Oh. Lucky number 6.
Yep. Because we definitely are in a high magic zone at the moment.
There you go. Well, scratch that plan I had there for you. Do whatever you like.
Alright, well, we're in a high magic zone. This thing is still relatively intact, though, despite the fact that we weathered the fireball rather well.
Yeah.
I said, well, in that case, I will just hit with magic missile. It's been a very reliable spell and throughout all of this.
Yeah. It always works.
Yep. I cast it at first level, but I get an extra dart because of the current field we're in.
Yep.
Plus 4. Alright. For 15 points of force damage.
Wow.
So, I release 4 darts from this first level magic missile because of the high magic zone, and they all rush forward and point blank range detonate into it, denting its breastplate inward, and it staggers back for a moment, but it rights itself. It's in the process of coming apart, you can tell, but it's hanging on.
Cool.
Your turn.
Firebolt. Is it in melee with me still?
It is in melee range with both of us, so this is a disadvantage, I'm afraid.
Does a 10 hit it?
No. Not even close.
Okay.
Alright. It just, as you bring your wand up, it just moves its arm to knock it aside, and you send the firebolt into the ceiling.
Don't do that.
Huh?
Not in a high magic zone. Could take the whole ceiling out.
Alright. Anything else?
Nope.
Alright, the one remaining armor actually does get to do something then.
Hey!
It has a spear. And it is going to use its multi-attack.
Okay.
Alright. I assume you still want odds for you, evens for me?
Well, might as well. Even though it always ends up being me.
Alright, one attack against me and one attack against you. It's dividing them up.
Wow.
I probably would have just gone with that anyway, but... Alright, against me first.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind your new armor class.
16, which is my armor class.
Oh.
Would I cast shield here? Nah, it's fine. It's a spear. Alright. Where? There. Oh. No. Alright. I take 9 points of piercing damage.
Wow. That's a good spear thrust.
Yeah. Maybe I should have. Alright. Against you.
Yep.
22 to hit.
Well, I guess I get hit.
Oh, for 10 points of piercing damage. That's maximum.
This thing just wants to put in a good show before it crumbles to the ground.
Yeah, it's 1d8 plus 2, and I rolled a 7 and an 8 on both attacks.
Hey, it happens.
It happens. And now we come to my turn. It's just, fortunately, nothing else happens. It is just a spear.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't feel like wasting too much on that.
I'm going to hit it with Frostbite. That's a failure. I don't even need to look up its modifiers. Yep. Alright. Plus 1 additional d6 for the high magic zone. Alright, 10 points of cold damage, which is enough to bring it down.
Yeah, it had only a couple points
It
left.
had 2 hit points left.
Yeah. Alright.
Alright, so I freeze it solid in place. Thanks to the high magic field really amping up my cantrip enough to do so. Cool. Alright. So that's all of the suits of armor destroyed.
bet there was a way of capturing these things and turning them into our side or something.
We can technically, there is a way, if we learn the magic necessary to do so, to manufacture them, because they are created constructs.
Oh, yeah,
They are literally one of the 2 classes in the game that are best suited for creating these things.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. So you have the crest under your arm, let's say.
Bag of holding.
So you put it in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
So what now? We've explored this corridor pretty thoroughly.
I have a question.
Yes.
Now that I see one of the crests,
Mhm.
the grandfather clock, does it have a face very similar to this crest?
It's in the same sort of shape because it's a circle.
Is the size the same?
No, it's not the same. The crest is somewhat bigger.
All right. So
It is the same size as the holes in that door, though. On the landing, the seal, the metal door.
yeah,
With the 3 metal indentations, the same size as those holes.
this one is not the clock.
The crest you're holding, yes.
Okay. Confusing me here.
Right.
Okay. Back we go.
Back we go. So, yes. So we come back to the grand hall on the balcony. And
Yes.
there's the door there, which you think the crest might fit into. And this is a good time for us to take our break.
Oh, okay.